So, hello everyone.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can all be in mute, and if you have any question, you can ask one by one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. My name is Meenakshi, and I'm a business development executive at Chess Gaja. Before starting the session, I just want to let you know that we are recording the session, and we will be using it for our promotional activities. And yeah. Welcome to our online demo session. So we are very excited to have you all here and give you a glimpse of what our program has to offer. And so I will explain the structure of this program. The first 40 to 45 minutes will be taught by our coach Shadi. And after that, the session will be followed by Grandmaster Priyadharshan. We have participants from different rating levels. So our coach Shadi will be covering the topics in different sections to ensure that everyone can follow along. So yeah, Shadi, you can take the class.
Okay. Okay, so hello. So before I start the class, I would like to know about you can say about yourself, is there anyone who is absolute beginner here? Since I just want to understand that which levels you are, and so that I can discuss a topic according to that. Like anyone is there who is absolute beginner?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I have learned basic chess and I'm 5 years old.
Okay, like basic chess means you know how to move the pieces, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Kshitij,
yeah,
you can,
ma'am.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am. Ma'am,
I know
actually,
the names.
Just hold on, one at a time. Yes.
yeah, ma'am. I'm Sitish. Ma'am, actually, I am unrated player.
Okay.
But after Corona, I have developed myself as a chess coach.
Yes,
Still,
okay.
I have yet to play tournament and to get the rating. But I am keen to learn everything about the basic and intermediate level.
Okay, basic means you're, as you said, you're a chess coach. That means you know the basics, like you know every piece movements and openings, what like that, you know.
Yeah, I play in chess.com at 1900 level, but I didn't play any tournament. So
Oh,
I
you
am
did not play any tournament. Okay. Okay. So Adip, you want to say anything? You just know the name of the pieces. That's it.
I know the names of the pieces and I can play. I play with my mama some days.
You play with your mama. Okay. And you
Yes.
know name of the pieces.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Squares,
So
there are 64 squares. 32
Uh,
black squares and 32 white squares.
okay. And how
I
many?
know the names of the pieces.
Okay. And you know the points? Points of the pieces?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me one by one, like what is the point of the pawn? Pawn's point. One. Rook.
Here, pawns can move one square or two squares at a time, and
Okay.
sometimes it can promote to a queen, bishop, rook, and knight.
Oh, okay. Nice. Just tell me what is the point of the rook?
Rook can move straight any number of squares.
Point. Like pawn, you said one. Rook.
Yes.
Rook you don't know. Okay, rook is 5. Queen is 9. And bishop and knight both are 3. Okay, knight is 3, bishop is also 3. Okay, and king is just...
Yes, I don't know this.
Oh, you don't know this, no problem. Okay, and any idea about what are the golden rules of chess? Okay, let us discuss about that with you. Okay, so first, okay, you know the movement of the pieces, right? Let me just share the board. And what about the you're moving the pawn and then moving the pawn only and not doing anything else. It's not like that. There is a certain way that you should play, or you should move your pieces, right? So in chess also, in chess there are particular rules. If you follow those, then it will be like a proper way of playing. Okay, so the first let me start with the first golden rule, that is rapidly development of pieces. Okay, like suppose you're starting with the pawn. You know pawn's movement, that it reaches here 8th square and then it changes into bishop, knight, rook, queen, right? But let me just tell you that pawn moves 1 square and also 2 squares. Okay, not like only 1 square you're moving and then only 1 square you're moving, not like that. It moves 2 square in the beginning, but once you move 2 squares, then it will move 1 square, no more 2 squares. Okay, there is a particular way you're moving the pawn. So we start with the game either with king pawn or with queen pawn. Okay, you can start with the game, with other pawns also, but better to start with the central pawn, because center is the most important squares. Okay, and the game revolves around that. Okay, so you take out your pieces, you control the center. Okay, so we start with the central pawn to control the center, and then slowly we develop our pieces. It's so the first and foremost thing is rapid development of pieces. You should develop your pieces first. No more pawn push. Okay, if you can push the pawns, but the thing is that your pieces will not develop in time. Okay, so it's better to start with the knight, because knight takes a little bit longer time than the bishop. Okay, bishop, just once you open the diagonal, it can move anywhere. Okay, here very fast. Okay, so that's why knight, we start with the knight. Okay, and then once the knight is out, you start with the bishop. Okay, so after the bishop, bishop c4, bishop c5, immediately castle. Okay, so first rapid development of pieces. Then once your pieces are developed, your knights, pieces means knights and bishop, not queen. Okay, minor pieces. There are two types, minor pieces and major pieces. Minor pieces are knight and bishop. Okay, and major pieces are rook and queen. Okay, 2 rooks and queen. So major pieces will come out later once the minor pieces are out. Okay, all the pieces like bishop, knight, and then you're done with your castle, either short side castle or long side castle. Then you develop your major pieces like queen, that also behind the friendly pawns. Okay, friendly pawns means your own pawns. First, like this, like after bishop c4, bishop c5, say knight f6, knight c3, castle d3, d6, your bishops are out, both the bishops are out. You can develop your queen, say here. Okay, so these are called friendly pawns. Okay, and you're placing your queen behind friendly pawns. That's fine. Okay, not like in the beginning only e4, e5, queen f3, then bishop c4 and queen f. This is just a very basic trap everybody try to do, like most of the players I have seen. And that's not the correct way of developing your pieces. Okay, like first you should start with your knight, then your bishops, and then you do your castling, and then slowly you will develop your major pieces. Like you can improve your queen's position, you can connect your rooks. Okay, you can bring your rooks at the center, and then you can start for attack. It's very important to control the center. Okay, center is the most important squares. Okay, e4, d4, e5, d5. Okay, so it's fight between the like central square, like both sides are fighting for the central squares. Okay, so it's very important that your pieces are controlling the central squares. Okay, then you can start for attack. Okay, it depends on the position, that which side you're attacking, where you want to play. Then after that you should start going for attack, not before that. Once your pieces are, without pieces you cannot go for attack. So first very important is you develop your pieces, and then you finish up your castle. King should be under the behind the 3 guards. These are the guards. Okay, f2, g2, h2. King should be safe, your own king. Okay, your own king should be safe, and then you can go for attack. these are the golden rules. Okay, that first develop your pieces, rapid development of your pieces, control the center, do your castling, and then you can go for attack. Okay, so these are basic golden rules of chess. Okay, if you follow this, you will not lose your material in the early part of the game, or you will not get checkmated so easily. Okay, in this way only like openings are played. Okay, whatever opening you check, you will see that it's all about proper piece development, developing your pieces harmoniously, and then you go for attack. Okay, okay, so now I will be sharing some positions, and let me see that okay. So let's start with this. Okay, just this is for everyone. Adip, you also try. This is, let me see, it's checkmate. Okay, so checkmate in 2 moves. So anybody can answer, anybody. Okay, it's checkmate in 2 moves. You can see
Who's
here a
checkmating
position.
whom? Is
It's
white checkmating black or black checkmating white? Who's
it's
checkmating
black
whom?
checkmating white. Black
Okay.
checkmating white. Yeah.
Ma'am, queen takes f6, g takes f6, and bishop on h6 checkmate.
8-6. I mean, 8-6 is this square. Queen takes f6. I think it's just notation. Can you
Yeah,
see the
queen takes c3, b takes
Okay.
c3,
Okay.
bishop a3 checkmate.
Okay, that's your answer. Anyone else? You can also answer. Like Kshitij answered his version. So anyone else? Okay.
Adip wants to say.
Yes, Adip, you want to ask anything? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You want to ask anything? You can ask.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Kshitij, yes, your answer is right. First, queen takes c3. Capturing the pawn, it's a check. And the king has no option. Okay, b1 is controlled by the bishop. Pawn takes. And bishop a3, mate. So the bishop is controlling the square b1. And the rook is controlling the d2 square. It's full file. And the bishop is doing checkmate. Okay, it's double bishop. Okay, now let's move to the next position here. It's white is going to do checkmate to black. Anybody can answer.
Yeah, g6, knight,
Hmm.
g6, check.
Knight g6 check.
Pawn
Pawn takes.
Yeah, and a cross b3.
H
Checkmate.
cross g3.
G3
Checkmate.
checkmate.
Checkmate. Not checkmate, like knight covers, rook takes knight, and it's checkmate. Okay. And okay, just let me explain one more thing here. This is called discovered check, moving one pawn from h2 to g3. The pawn moved and the rook is giving check. This is called discovered check. Okay. Okay, now let's move to the next position. Okay, this is yeah. This is again white doing checkmate to black. White's move, white to play and win.
Yeah, I got it. If you allow, I can answer.
Yeah, sure. Anyone can answer. You can go on.
Queen takes h7 check.
Queen
King
takes.
takes h7.
Yes.
King takes, yeah. And rook h3 check.
Check.
Queen defend, and then
Queen
again
defend.
rook h5 checkmate.
Okay. And this one is decoy sacrifice. You are sacrificing your queen on h7. King takes, dragging the king out, and then you're giving checkmate. Decoy sacrifice or retraction. Okay. Now let's move to the next position here. Okay. 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 This is black doing checkmate to white. Anyone can answer, only Kshitij is answering. So I think others also should try.
Yeah, so if this knight on f4
Yeah.
moves to hold on.
Ma'am, Adipa,
Yes.
say
Yes. Say.
first here queen will go check king, then knight takes king. The square number is g7, queen goes, then king on of course take. There's a black knight, so the white knight can take on g7, then another black knight will take, then
Okay. Okay.
then
Gaurav sir, you are about to say something. You want to answer?
No, it's too early for me. I was just going to clarify. Black's checking white, correct?
Yeah, black is doing checkmate.
Okay, so we are up on the I mean, it's not 7. It'll be in the 1, 2, 3 area.
Yeah,
correct?
2, 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Black
All right.
side
Yeah,
is
no, I was just
8, 7.
struggling with the fact that this knight over here on E1 is protecting the square G2.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be careful because we can move the rook aside and then do a reveal check with the bishop, which is on B7.
Yeah.
So I was just playing with those things. So if you move the knight, which is on F4 to E2, then that's a check. But the queen can capture that.
Yeah. Queen is capturing that.
And then if we then, but
I'm just
this
giving
guy's
the
also,
move, okay?
yeah, this guy's also protecting
Say
the knight's
92, you are
protecting
saying?
this square. So we
Okay,
have to,
say queen is taking. Okay.
right.
And is there any scope for black in this position?
If we capture this
bishop
pawn,
is doing an excellent job.
if we
Yeah.
capture this pawn on H2 with the queen,
Yeah. Okay.
and then move the rook over to, oh no, but there's a pawn sitting there.
Oh no, actually the pawn is pinned. The bishop is
Oh
pinning
yeah,
the
yeah,
pawn.
yeah. I forgot that I was, yeah, there are 2 bishops. I'm sorry, I was only looking at the light square bishop. Move the thing over, and then it's checkmate because the white bishop is going right through, and then you can move the, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next position. This is white doing checkmate to black. I mean, white to play and win. I mean, yeah. white's move. Anyone can answer.
Can say
Yeah.
queen will come to h3, then
Okay. Okay.
from g3, queen will come to h3. Then
Okay.
rook will go to h8.
But there is black's
Rook
move,
is
right? Yeah.
h5, so it will
Hmm.
go to h8, and
Okay.
that's a checkmate.
Okay. Anyone else?
Ma'am,
Anyone can answer. Yeah, sure.
ma'am, rook h8 check, king takes rook, rook captures f8 check,
Hmm.
queen takes rook,
Okay.
queen comes h3 check, yeah, rook takes on f8, so queen takes rook, queen
Okay.
h3 check,
Okay.
rook h4,
Okay.
queen takes rook,
Yes.
g8, king g8, and queen h7 checkmate.
Okay. Can anyone tell me like what tactical theme is this? Like what is this rook h8? Is you can say attraction, right? Rook h8. First move. And also it's deflection. You're actually removing the king from g8, and this actually the knight is now protected only by the queen. Before it was protected by the king and the queen, and now only queen. Okay. And then what is the next move? Kshitij, you said rook into f8,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now this time deflection. Deflection means removing the guard. Okay, removing the guard, removing the queen from here to f8, so that when you're giving the check on h3, if the rook covers, there is no support of the queen from e7. Okay, queen takes h4, king g8, and then you're doing queen h7 with the pawn support here. Okay. Okay. Now moving to the next position. This is black's move. Black to play. Black will play here. Black's move. Black to play and win. I'm only getting answer from Kshitij. Adip is trying. Gaurav sir tried once. What about others? Anyone can answer.
I think it has to start with the queen taking the pawn
Yes, sir. Queen e3.
on, yeah. So that's check.
Yeah.
So then king has to move into the corner,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And if the knight then moves here
Knight where, sir?
on f2,
Yes. Okay.
that's check.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can, and then we can do a reveal check. The knight takes the bishop over here,
Yeah.
and that's a reveal check with the queen.
Hmm.
And if, what the damn.
Yeah.
Rook is sitting there.
It's smothered mid.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Kshitij, you can
Yes. Queen G1 check,
Yeah.
and
Any piece, knight take, or
Yeah.
say rook is taking.
then knight F2 checkmate.
Yeah, this is smothered mid actually with the knight. We are sacrificing the queen here, and the rook. See, the white king is actually blocked by its own piece, rook, and the pawns. So it's smothered mid. Okay, just the next one. This one is black to play. Black to play and win.
Ma'am, Adip
Yes.
say,
Yes.
Adip, the queen on E5 can capture the pawn on E6. And
E6,
the
okay.
knight will move to the E2. Then queen had captured the pawn on E6. Then it will capture diagonally the pawn on G2, and that's a checkmate.
Okay. 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 Anyone else? It's black's move.
Ma'am, sorry, it's wrong.
No problem.
Ma'am, I want to try. I don't know how far I can go.
Yes.
Rook to H3. Then
Okay,
it is.
H3.
So
Okay.
then it is forced to capture G takes H3.
Okay. What about bishop?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Anyone else wants to try this one?
If we start with the knight, which is on D4, and move it to F3, the pawn is forced to capture.
Knight
Oh,
F3.
but there's no check. Sorry, I was looking at it the wrong way. Well, maybe the rook goes here.
So you're trying for looking for checkmate, right? Is there anything else you can try?
I don't think you're going to get a checkmate in one move. You'll have to try and dislodge these two guys. I mean, it's being protected by the rook and these two pawns.
So anyone else? Many of you are here. Okay, I got an answer. Okay, so I got this suggestion, knight F3 and rook D2, queen H2 checkmate threat. Like this one, knight F3. Sorry, you were saying this, Gaurav sir. After taking this, I got this suggestion, this rook D2. Okay,
Right,
and
that's what I
the
was.
queen and rook is threatening checkmate on h2, which is difficult for white to defend. Okay, because
Yeah, that's what I was
rook
missing out.
b8, rook b8 check is the b8 square is defended by the queen. Okay, so Hemant answered this. Okay, let's move to the next position. It's white's move, white to play.
I got it. Rook takes h7, king takes h7,
Yeah,
queen h3,
queen h3.
and king g7, and then
Yeah.
h6, queen h6 checkmate.
Yes, queen h6 check, decoy sacrifice. Okay. So now we are moving to another game. Okay. So it's game between Winter William and Capablanca. Capablanca is playing with black pieces, was world champion. And so let's just start with the game. We will be seeing this game from Capablanca's side, means black side. Okay. So here also you will be able to see that how you should play the opening. Means you can see the development, how both the players develop their pieces, how to play properly the opening. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6. Pawn knights are out. Now bishop b5. This is pawn knights. Okay, pawn knights game. Bishop b5, bishop b4. Okay, castle, castle. Bishop takes c6, d takes c6. Okay, here the idea of this opening, okay, comes from Nimzowitsch. Okay, and here white plays d3 and prepare f4, which actually helps to open up the f5. Okay, and usually what happens, this knight try to come and control the f5 square near the castle position. Okay, it's an outpost for the knight. The knight comes on f5 square with the rook support. Okay, and white tries to open up with the f4 pawn to open the rook's file. So that's the idea of the opening. Okay, but here we will see what white do is, after bishop d6, because the bishop is no more pinning here. So the bishop is coming back here to protect the pawn on e5. Okay, so here white played bishop g5, which is a dubious move. It's not the move which is related to the idea f4. Okay, here what happens, the knight moves on f4, and once the rook's file is open, the knight tries to come on f5. And it becomes a very strong outpost for the knight near the king's castle position. Okay, it's not, and this move is not related to the plan, openings plan. Okay, so bishop g5, black played h6, bishop h4, c5. Why c5? To stop pawn push d4. If you notice, one thing you can see that both the players developed the pieces properly. Okay, and they have done the castle. This is the proper way of development. Still, black needs one bishop to bring out, which is still about to develop. So, and white's pieces are all developed. Okay, so bishop c5, knight d5. Okay, so knight d5 with the intention of pressuring the knight on f6. Okay, but it is actually not the correct move. Here, the correct plan for white is knight to d2, d2 to c4, and c4 to e3. Okay, it's a very good knight maneuvering, and from e3 to f5 with the same plan that I have mentioned at the beginning, because the knight's posting here is very important, and from here it targets the castle king position. Okay, so knight d5, and here black played g5. Okay, attacking the bishop, freeing this knight from pinning. Okay, knight takes f6, queen takes bishop g3. Now soon you will see that this bishop will be completely cut off from the game. Okay, bishop g3, bishop g4. Now the bishop developed directly on g4, pinning the knight on f3. And here white played h3, attacking the bishop. Okay, so bishop into f3, queen takes, pawn takes. Now it's a very instructive position here. If you assess and see the position, black's bishop is also behind the 2 pawns. It's not that active, but white's bishop is even worse. There is no way out for the bishop. Okay, so if you want to make this bishop play, you have to move the pawn f4, then f3, then the bishop can go to e1. But here, for that, you have to give up your pawn. Okay, it's very difficult for white to activate the bishop on g3. Okay, this is called piece cut off from the game. Okay, this bishop is completely out of the game now. Okay, you will see soon that the bishop will remain here only. Black will make sure that the bishop remains here and cannot take part in the game. Okay, so g into f3, f6. Okay, this pawn structure is so strong, and white has no way out for the bishop, no way out for the pawns here to move and activate the bishop. Okay, so here white played king g2. In black started playing here in the queen side, a5. Okay, a4, and slowly the king will improve because we have exchanged the queens. We are moving towards the endgame, and in the endgame, king's improvement towards the center is very important. In the endgame, king doesn't sit here behind the pawns. In the endgame, king's role change. King moves out from its place. Okay, king f7. Rook h1. So white is trying to play h4 here just to exchange up and open up the file. But here, black is not much worried about that. He's moving the king to the center. Okay, h4. Rook b8. Why? The rook has moved to the queen side because black is not much worried about the king side. There is nothing left in the king side to worry about. Okay, because the king has moved out, there is no pawn to target. So even if white opens up the file, white cannot do anything. Okay, h takes g5, h takes g5, b3. Okay, and here now it's time to activate the bishop. But to activate the bishop, black needs to move the pawns. Okay, so black started with c6. Okay, so here rook a2 and then b5. So black can also get rid of the double pawn if white exchanges. Okay, but white did not. White played rook ha1. White understood that there is nothing here in the king side, so soon he shifted the rook to the queen side. Okay, then c4. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Okay, you can take this, but actually here these two pawns are attacking the c4 pawn. In that case, black may lose 1 pawn. So first he took this b3 pawn and attacked the rook. Then white is forced to take this. White cannot take this pawn b into c6 because black is going to capture the rook on a2. Okay, so that's why white is capturing the b3 pawn, and then rook takes b5. We are taking this with the rook so that we can attack the weak pawn on b3. Now, so many moves I have played. Now look at the bishop. White could not move it for once. It's still on g3 only, locked up completely. There is no way out, not from h2 g1. Okay, so here after rook into b5, rook a4.
Madam, just a minute.
Yes, please ask.
Ma'am, yes, white's bishop is a bad one, but opponent is not able to take advantage of it. So nothing is happening also.
No, actually, see, when you are making your opponent's piece completely cut off from the game, you can consider it as 0. It's off you can consider it as off the board. Like it's there on the board, but it is down. We can consider it as dead. Okay, just 0, no role. Okay, a piece is active, then only it can be considered as having points, and it's then only it can be you can say it active, and its points depends on its activity. Okay, so here the bishop is not doing anything, that's why it's 0. So you can consider this bishop as up. You have extra material because white's material is not active, cannot do anything. Okay, and black is actually taking advantage of the weak pawns. Okay, that's why you will be seeing how black is taking the advantage. Rook a4, here rook into b3, d4. So white is defending the pawn here. Okay, rook b5. So this pawn has now become an outside passer. Okay, rook b4. So black is now offering rook exchange, because after the exchange, it will be easier for black to promote the pawn, and this bishop cannot do anything. It cannot come and stop it. Okay, rook into c6, rook into d4. And here white resigned, because see, only because of this isolate piece, this bishop is now active. It is no more behind any pawns, and this pawn is just about to promote. And I don't think these two rooks are sufficient against these three pieces to stop the passed pawn here. This pawn is about to promote, and your opponent's bishop here, the g3 bishop, is not active, and that's the reason it cannot help the two rooks to stop the passed pawn. Okay, that is the advantage of piece cutoff. Okay, so in the game also, here black like made sure this bishop is locked up here. Okay, and this has become an isolated piece, and because of that, it remained as 0 points. Okay, it is there on the board, but it can be, it doesn't really matter whether it is on the board or off the board. It is not doing anything. Okay, here actually white resigned because he cannot stop this pawn from promoting. Okay, so that's the game. It's a very beautiful and instructive game, and it's on the concept piece cut off from the play. So you should try in the middle game. Like if piece activity is very important. Okay, you should activate your pieces and make sure that your opponent's pieces are not playing properly. Okay, in different way, like here Capablanca made sure that the bishop is stuck on g3. Okay, so that's it for today's class. So just before I conclude, any question, anything you want to ask that you did not understand that I can explain again? Anything, any question from the game or from the position you want to ask anything? Any question from your side?
Yeah, thank you so much, Shadi.
Yeah.
I think I can. Yeah, so I will explain about our group classes and our academy a bit now. So everyone can see my screen, right? So yeah, a little introduction about us. So we are a global online chess academy. We have students from 12+ countries, and Chess Gaja is founded and led by Grandmaster and FIDE trainer Priyadharshan Kannappan. And we are a private limited company, and we are operating out of Madurai, which is in Tamil Nadu, India. So yeah, we have worked with 6 national champions, and we have 15+ coaches handling over 100+ students of different levels. So currently, Chess Gaja have students primarily from these countries. So regarding our group classes, so for US students, we have various group class options for different levels. For others, we have a summer camp. So this program is offered in 2 levels, beginner level and intermediate level. So if you are very new to chess and you don't know how the pieces move, you would fit into the beginner level. And if you know how the pieces move and played a few tournaments, you would fit into the intermediate level. So this program starts on May 15. So yeah, this program would be taught by a FIDE rated professional coach, and this is not for adults. It has an age limit of 17 to 15. We have a slightly advanced course, so this is suggested for students between 1000 to 1400 level, and it has 14 sessions, and out of 2 it would be taught by Grandmaster Priyadharshan. And so this 14 session would happen as weekly 2 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 to 6 p.m. IST. So we have actually run a similar group class before with the same format, and we have received very positive feedback, and students have shown some progressive growth. So this is one of our successfully running program. And so yeah, additional benefits would be like you would get direct insights from Grandmaster Priyadharshan, and even if you are a beginner taking classes with us, all our coaches are FIDE rated coaches. And once you are part of Chess Gaja, we would provide a customized chess timetable prepared by Grandmaster Priyadharshan. And we conduct monthly 2 academy tournaments in online, where academy students play each other. So which would be very helpful for you to practice. Uh, Grandmaster Priyadharshan will also play in few of the tournaments, and we would provide homework puzzles, and we would give feedback on that. So these are some of the accomplished students from Chess Gaja in Chess Gaja. So these students, they are with us for more than 2 to 3 years now, and they have been constantly performing very well. And even currently, Vijay is representing his state, Texas, in Rockefeller Chess Tournament, which is a pretty big tournament in US. We also have another student named Vihan. He is representing Minnesota in the same tournament. Um, so in our team, there is me and another one, Morgan, who is also on the call. So we would be helping with you if you would like to share any feedback on the group class, or if you face any technical difficulties during your class, or if you would like to if you like us to help with which tournament to attend or which book to refer, we would discuss with Priyadarshan and we would help you with this. And as mentioned, we have coaches of all levels. So if you want to switch to the next level of coaches, we would assist you with that. And so we would write actually monthly student success blogs, so that we would closely track your progress, so that we would send the blog to you so you can understand how your child or yourself improve in chess. And we have a WhatsApp community uh, where we constantly update about our group classes and other classes, other sessions. So the link will be shared to you in chat, so you can join our WhatsApp community. So if you like to know more about us, or if you have any doubts, you can reach out to us. Now the session will be continued by Priyadarshan.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Hello, everyone, and great to see a lot of you here. Hello, and I see you from US waking up early morning. Thanks for joining from US, and some from Singapore also. So a lot of countries people have joined. Good to see that. So basically, I had 3 positions. I don't know, based on how much time we have, I'll share maybe all the 3, and all the 3 are from my own games. So maybe we could let me go ahead and share my screen. It might be slightly tough from a solving level. So I'll kind of guide on how a decision, like, how that particular move was made, or things like that. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my board? Just to confirm. Yeah, okay, great. So this was a game. It's actually, I was playing black in this game. This was in 2014, and my opponent was actually not such a strong player. But the move that I played here is something that I always feel was one of the best moves that I played in my chess career so far. And that's why I feel I wanted to share this position. Looks like a very normal position, like a lot of pieces on the board, literally more or less every piece is on the board, right? Except maybe a few pawns have been exchanged. So maybe I would suggest everyone to think for 2 to 3 minutes, not to rush to the answer. And, then I will kind of explain my thought process, like what I was thinking in the game, and we can see how the answer matches with the ones that you suggest in the group. Yeah. It's black to play in case if anyone has that.
So we are trying to guess what you played, what move
I
you
mean, what
played.
would you play? What would not, it's not like guess what I played. What would you play here, or what would be the best move here? Because the move that I played here, later on, I confirmed, I checked with analyzed it, and that was the best move. So, so try to find what would be the move that you would play here, and then we can try to match it with the move that I played and see how the game developed from there. So white has just moved the knight from D2 to F3 in this position.
The knight to E4.
Oh, which knight of this or this? Which
F6 knight.
Okay. So keep thinking. I will check with other participants also. So let them think, and then I'll explain, because there's a lot of interesting moves, right? Knight E4, knight D5, the other knight E4, or maybe some another move like rook C7, rook D7. So there are so many options here. So that's kind of like the problem here and the answer we are trying to find. There seems to be so many options, and there's one option that's exceptionally good for black. Others are all like, okay. That's the kind of the question here. Like, so many tempting moves, but how would you choose the right one here is kind of the point.
When you are going to the range of moves, why wouldn't the bishop taking the knight be a possibility?
That is also a possibility. Yes, that is also a possible candidate move here. Yeah, bishop capturing the knight. A lot of you in the audience are very quiet. Does anyone, like, even if it's like whatever move that comes to your mind, if you think you feel that would be the move that you would play, feel free to share. I see a lot of people in the audience not really participating. Would be great to hear your thoughts too. Okay, so I have one knight, knight E4 was suggested, bishop takes F3. And if anyone wants to put it on chat also, you can, in case we don't want to answer it over the voice. But we have two moves, right? Knight E4, bishop F3 so far suggested. So this was a position where I spent close to 25 minutes in the game, I remember, because all the options were equally, like, very tempting, right? You can put this one because you're trying to aim for this square. So for example, one really interesting idea is trying to get here this knight and get this knight, so we can occupy the square for our knight, like, either of the knight jumps there, and it looks like a very strong square for the knight to land. That is the key idea, because this key square. But then as I was calculating that, let's say if I play knight f e4, I realized, or knight c4, let's say if we put knight c4, what I ended up realizing is, white has moves also. White's knight also comes to some very good squares like knight e5. And then if we try some knight d5, the queen could come out and attack our f7 pawn and so on. So, and also there's a lot of tactics that's aiming at here and here, right? As we are trying to go for this square on c3, white is creating a lot of counterplay in the meantime. So my first choice was obviously jumping one of the knights to e4, but then I realized that this is such a big problem. Actually, if knight e5 comes, I'm not able to really, push, go for the c3 square or do much. Then what I ended up doing is like, okay, if I cannot achieve what I want to achieve in this position, as in my goal of knight jumping to c3, then how about I stop what my opponent wants to achieve? So what in chess we call this the prophylaxis, or trying to stop opponent's ideas. So why did my opponent go to knight to f3 was the question I asked myself. And it was very obvious my opponent is trying to come to knight e5. And that is the key idea. If not, why would this knight maneuver itself from d2 to f3? And so then I started thinking, okay, if I have to stop knight e5, is that a good move? Like stopping it, does it make any sense? My knight is on f6, well, should I, kind of move back with my knight, something like knight of d7? And if you actually think very deeply about it, knight of d7 is a very strong move. Why it is a strong move, I'll explain. One, this bishop, if you look at this position, this bishop was one of the pieces that did not have a very active role as of now. Like this bishop, even we have a good control over these squares. Bishop is doing fantastic on this diagonal a8 to h1 diagonal, but the e7 bishop does not have a very active role to start off with. So we can activate this bishop via f6. That is one part of it. And another part of it is, if I've stopped knight e5 because the square is now controlled by the knight, and then what is white going to do? If you ask, where is white's piece is going to do? Like this knight cannot really go anywhere. This has the only square it can go is like here, not a great square. If this knight cannot move anywhere, where can this bishop go? The bishop is stuck. And then look at this bishop, like it has nothing useful other than like maybe here. It's a good diagonal, but what does it do being in a good diagonal is the next question. So all white pieces are in very good squares, or looks like they're in very good squares, but they don't have any purpose in whichever square they are. So that is where the game, this is like, so if you play knight e4, it is like equal. Like if you analyze this very in depth, this is like knight e4, bishop f3. I'm not a big fan of this move, because here you are giving up your bishop for a knight, and generally bishops are considered slightly stronger in open positions. So you don't want to give up your bishop for a knight in a situation like this. And so I played knight f d7, and after knight f d7, the game was like slightly in favor of black. It's like around equals plus, if we have to precisely say. And then white suddenly realizes white has no good squares for pieces. So white tries to go queen e1, and white wants to, get maybe some square for the bishop to go back so the rook can play on the c5. But then you see how the position slowly gets outplayed for white. So the bishop improves to f6, bishop a1. Again, white has no idea what to do, as in like white has no good piece improvement move. But if you look at it, all the upcoming moves for black would be piece improvement. So I play a6. First, I'm taking care of this square also, so the knight cannot jump to b5 or bishop cannot jump to b5. So white now realizes that this knight came to f3 is kind of pointless. So white wants to go back. But this is actually a pretty dubious move, because now my knight comes back into the game with full like now it's even more dangerous, because now we are threatening to go to knight d3, right? And we want to win an exchange. So white has to go queen f1. And if you compare this position to the position that we had just 4 to 5 moves ago, look at the amount of improvement that black's pieces have made compared to white's pieces. White's pieces have actually gone back. The queen has gone back, the knight from f3 has gone back, the bishop has gone back. You might ask, does not white have anything better? White does have some slightly better continuations, but even in those continuations, if I'm not mistaken, the absolute best variation according to the computer engine is to go like h3 and go like king h1 and king g1. That's what computer says. It says this is the best way for white to just keep the position as it is. White does not have anything like very good as a piece improvement option. So my opponent went this way, queen f1, but then I captured and I went queen a7. And now, now look at the position. Now it looks fantastic for black, because I'm possibly threatening to capture here at some point, because there is possibly a threat here. I'm not saying right away, but that's one threat. There is also a lot of pressure down here. There is ideas of knight a4 if the queen moves anywhere. So a lot of white pieces are like, especially the light squares are really weak. So if you look at it, this bishop is very strong. It controls 2 crucial diagonals. Yeah. And then white played a5. The game went like here. I'll just show how the game ended. So now the queen comes back. And now the point being, there's a clear weakness over here, which we are going to pick up. And there's another weakness here, which we are going to pick up. So then white basically resigned in another few moves, because white went rook b1. I defended the pawn, queen g3, bishop f8, because white's idea was to capture here and threaten a mate. So we just go defend. So if we just kill all white's counterplay, then it's basically black, winning the pawn and converting it into a win. Knight c2, queen f5. And white went rook b2, but then that's game over, because rook d1. And now king f2 would lead to rook d2 check or queen d3 and threatening a checkmate. So that was this position. So mainly I wanted to say here is the idea of this position, why I wanted to show this is, so many times we only think of what we want to achieve in a position, but sometimes we might not have anything to really achieve, as in we might not have a clear plan on what we want to do. In that case, it might be a good idea to see what our opponent wants to do and might just need to stop that. And that might give us some new plans based on that maneuvering of our pieces and so on. Yeah. So that's basically it. And also I'd like to open the floor for any questions. Maybe like I'll take 2 or 3 questions because we have about 5 minutes or so. If anyone wants a question, anything, just you can feel free to ask. Yeah.
Here, you said that bishop should not capture knight in the open game, but when you were capturing, opponent's bishop was also capturing your bishop. So it was going to benefit your opponent even if he would have captured knight with its bishop. So then why one should not go for that move?
Sorry, let me share my screen. Which what are you asking, sir? Do you mean why did I capture here?
Yeah,
This
when
point?
yes, it
Okay,
was the
so
point. Yeah, and the knight was on c5.
yeah,
Black
I
knight was on.
captured the c4 knight because this pawn was hanging.
No, not at this time. When the bishop, yeah, at this time, when you made a plan, knight captures on b3 at forking the rook and the bishop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For that, this knight at d4 needs to be removed. So with your bishop, you could have removed this knight on which is on d4.
No, but why would I want to capture it? The point is I would not prefer to capture this because my bishop is doing very good here. This knight is centralized, but the knight does not have any access. It cannot come here. It cannot come here. It can go backwards, but I don't mind if the knight goes backwards. So the only useful square is it can come here. But that square also I just controlled it to the a6. If the knight wants to go backward, I'm happy. I don't mind if the knight goes to c2 or d2. So why should I go and capture the knight unnecessarily when the knight does not have any active purpose here?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions? Yes. I'll take one last question and then I think we'll wrap up because it's slightly past the scheduled time. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, so it's not so much of a question as a dilemma. I mean, when you were explaining, it was very clear that you had about 5 different variables in your mind. I mean, you're looking at the light squares, the dark squares, where you have an advantage, where your opponent has an advantage. I think that's one of the toughest skills to develop as I'm developing my own game. I mean, like, for example, that move that I gave you, which you said, no, it's not that great a move. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I would have played that move because of it being the most obvious to my way of looking at life. But as I was hearing you, I was noticing as to the depth and width of evaluation. And that is the most difficult thing right now to sort of improve as to how do you first generate options and then how do you evaluate them?
Yeah, so as I said, in that position, first 15 minutes I spent was trying to make all those lines that looked very interesting to work. But then as I kept looking at that position, I realized as I get as I get active play, my opponent also generates equal amount of active play. And that part was annoying me because I did not wanted to play a position where I was also playing something very actively and my opponent was also creating a lot of active threats. So then I had to switch my thinking there to say, okay, this is not going to work because many times we have this kind of a tunnel vision. We just look at one thing and we just want to go deeper and deeper into it without coming out and stepping back and looking at that position, what exactly is happening. So in this case, I step back and I say, okay, I want to achieve something with that, but I'm not happy with the outcome. So why don't I just maybe go step back and see what my opponent wants to achieve, and maybe let me just try to stop it for and then I realized if I stop my opponent's idea, my opponent is unable to further progress anywhere. Even though the pieces all look great, it's all centralized and all, then the opponent, so it, as I said, I spent close to 20 to 25 minutes in that position. It was not an easy one, even though I was you know, by then I was already close to a grandmaster. I was an international master when I was playing this game. So it's not an easy one, obviously, the answer to that. That is why it's my favorite move, because it's kind of a tough one to find. Even after a lot of thinking, you figure out. So the ability to switch from your ideas or to like then to switch to prophylaxis, your active ideas or prophylaxis is a skill that you develop as you play more games and you analyze your mistakes, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So thanks everyone for joining in. Great to see you all here. And if you need any additional information, you can reach out to us on the Academy's contact details. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye everyone. Bye.